want to start with congrats on the movie, and sincerely. And I also want to say that thank you for doing the screening with us in New York City.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Perry's going to moderate, and I can tell you that when I announce a screening, I can tell how much interest there is in a movie based on the responses.
Yeah.
And we have way more people asking for tickets than I absolutely expected.
Wow.
In the first day, like a lot of people.
Wow.
So the movie, there's a lot of interest in the film.
That is really gratifying to hear. That's really good to know. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, because, you always worry that is the word getting out there? Are people interested, or are they... Is it sort of engaging people? But look, we got Chris and Anna. We're already ahead of the curve. It's a good start.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I think that's helping fill the theater.
Yeah, well, I can live with that. You don't mean it's me? It's not me, Steve.
I think it's a combination of the fact that you'll be able to watch the movie. Anyway, listen. So,
but in the theater, I agree. The it's going to be on a screen. It's going to be great. Yeah.
Yeah, so you early in your career you did a lot of acting, and I'm curious if someone, and you still do acting, but if someone has never seen anything you've done as an actor, what is the first thing you'd like them watching and why?
Oh gosh, that's a tough one. Well, most people. I'm trying to get round the answer by sort of dropping in as many things as I can. Most people in the UK certainly know me from Bugsy Malone, which was a great musical that, Alan Parker made with Jodie Foster and Scott Baio many years ago, where all the kids played gangsters. But maybe The Elephant Man, I would say, because I was 13 or 14, and it's a great, incredible film by David Lynch with John Hurt and Anthony Hopkins and John Gielgud and many other luminaries. So I think that was something that really stayed with me as an experience. And it's a great film. So if you just want to watch it, it stands the test of time. So if you just want a great film, not that I'm a huge part in it. Or Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. How about go with that? I don't know. Or Revolution with Al Pacino. And I could go for that. Or it's a tricky one. That's tricky.
I was going to say that I still can't believe you did The Bounty and The Long Good Friday.
I did The Bounty as well. Yeah, when I was 17, I was in Tahiti for 9 weeks, 10 weeks. That was quite, with Mel Gibson and Daniel Day-Lewis's first film, I think. I know. Liam Neeson as well. Yeah.
I was going to say that this is your first time helming a film with this much action, this kind of scale. Obviously, you've done Rocketman and you've done other things, but this is a completely different beast. What do you wish you knew at the beginning of the shoot that you learned during the shoot? Sort of like the advice you're going to give yourself or the lessons you learned that you'll take with you to the things you do in the future.
Well, I think it's about the benefits of previs and storyboarding, which my other films, I didn't really need them so much before, because I could be accessible enough to all departments, because it's a much tighter unit that those round table weekly or daily discussions that I had with the crew and the team, I could help, enunciate and elucidate what my vision is and is all about, and how achieving it is really in collaboration with those people, I suppose. But when I got the previs for the bus chase, for example, on Ghosted, I immediately thought of the piece of music that's on that and put it on there, and that stuck straight away. And I only use that as an example because I think that, and then I didn't have much more time to do a lot more of that. That was the one thing that got the most attention in terms of prevising stuff, which is pre-visualization. You kind of build assets and build it. So that was a real kind of revelation. It's like, you can kind of really get your vision across to people in a very succinct and tangible way really quickly without, I was like, give that to everybody. They all know then what we're aiming for, which is great. So I suppose but that comes down to how much prep time you've got. And I've learned that, you never finish, you just run out of time on all aspects of making a film, kind of like life, really. But I suppose that'll be something that I'll be more mindful of moving forward, hopefully to more action. I don't know if that kind of answers your question.
So I think this is probably the most important question I'll ask you. Do emojis count as a text message?
That's a good question. I think they do, but I suppose it depends who's receiving the emoji or the text. They might just be like, that's just an emoji. But emojis can communicate quite a lot. They're a reaction, aren't they? Look, I'm not of the generation where ghosting is really a relevant thing, because I'm married for 25 years and ghosting seems to be a fairly current phenomena, in the digital age. I'm more analog, unfortunately. I was in the Bounty 40 years ago. So, there was no text messaging then. There was dumping then. People would say things to you like, it's not me, it's not you, it's me, or, I don't see any future in this. Now people just ignore you. The only other thing I can equate it to is like being an actor. As an actor, you go for many, many auditions and you never find out why you don't get the job. All you know is you phone up your agent and say, did I get the job? And they say no. And you say, why? And say, we don't know why, you just didn't get the job. And so that's the experience of being an actor for many, many years. You're constantly ghosted. That's the only thing I can make any sort of comparison to. I
do. I was going to say, I think emojis do count as a text message.
You do? Okay. Well, yeah.
I do. I was just going to say that one of the things this film does so well is that it's just a fun movie. It's really a really fun film. And talk a little bit about crafting that tone in the editing room, finding, you know what I mean? Because it's, because you have a lot of action, you have those fun moments. Talk a little bit about putting it all together.
Well, I think what the film benefits from is that the setup, and certainly for me and for the actors, that it needs to feel really genuine and connected and plausible. And so there's a real reality to making that work, a real authenticity that the actors have to bring and we have to craft within that. I in the edit, I struggled with that first initial scene where they meet for a long time, getting the tone right, getting the misunderstanding beats right, and just the back and forward of it and the initial attraction that then becomes something different, and then it kind of needed to feel very real, because everyone recognises meeting someone they are attracted to for the first time and having to talk to them. That's an experience probably 99.9 of us have. So I can't cheat. We can't cheat in that moment. It has to feel authentic, because if it's just too easy, people will go, well, that's too easy. If it's too contrived and too hard, then people will pull back as well. So it was getting that balance right, but that created a bar of authenticity that had to carry through the rest of the film. Otherwise, the rest of the film would feel completely inconsistent. And so the action tries to match the authenticity of that initial meeting and that relationship. If you see what I mean? And I think that's where we benefit. And of course it gets fantastical. Of course it is an action. It's a movie. It's entertainment. But Chris's reaction always feels genuine. He's scared. When people are blowing things up and driving fast and shooting guns, he's like, I just like, how would we react? And he'd be like, I'd be terrified. I'm like, that's what you got to do. Be terrified. That's consistent. And she's a very high achiever who's used to that world, but can't handle romance, can't handle feelings. And that's how she plays. So I think that's a long-winded answer to what you were asking me. I think that's it.
I'm always fascinated about how things change in the editing room. So what did you learn from any friends and family screenings or test screenings that impacted the finished film?
Well, I hate to sound boastful or arrogant or conceited, but I'm going to run the risk. No, what really happened is that when we assembled the film, that we looked at it and I was like, and we paired everything back for the director's cut. I get 10 weeks to create the cut. And I was like, this really feels like it's working. But of course, after 10 weeks of working and watching it, you get a bit of snow blindness, And so we took it for a test screening. And we were unsure. We all go in unsure. You say, I think it's good, but you don't know. You put it in front of an audience. And it just played so well. It just people just were laughing at things that we never had expected. And then once that first laugh came, it just sort of snowballed and it carried on. It scored very highly. And we came out of it and the studio said, this is great. The score was really good. It was a very, very positive, good score. And we realised that there was no reshoots or pickups that was done on this film at all. The film we shot is the film that people see. There's no pickups, no reshoots on it at all. There's one insert of a ring coming off of a finger, but other than that, that's it. We didn't have to go back and go, okay, how do we patch it? You know, and I think the studio were like overwhelmingly pleased by that because it means, you know, suddenly we'd have to get everything out of mothballs and employ all these people again. It was like the movie was there. And I think it was obviously a testament to the work that was done by all the crew and cast on the film when we were making it. We worked really hard to make the complete film. And it was just one of those rare magic moments where that actually happened. So once that test came in, they kind of like, don't touch it, just don't, that's it. And I was like, well, I'm going to put the visual effects, I'm going to change some music. And they were like, no, don't, you know. So it's not a million miles away from the film that was the film that I first cut after my 10 weeks.
Did you end up with a lot of deleted scenes or not really?
No, there's no deleted scene. There's edited versions of scenes, but there's no scene that doesn't make it into the end. Everything we shot is in the film. And we didn't, there's one scene that I reshot because I didn't like it, which was an ending of them driving away in a car. And I changed it for them being at the ending that you see in the movie now. But we shot that within the main body of the film. So there's great outtakes. There's an outtake reel, but there's no extra scenes that didn't make the final cut. There just isn't any. It's all in there.
I have a ton of other questions, but I'm almost out of time. I do want to ask you, do you know what you're going to do next?
Not yet. There's a couple of things floating around, but I want to sort of focus on just seeing this get out there as well as I can. But no, I don't know. I'd like to do more stuff like this. I really enjoyed it, and I think I've got more to say and more to offer with action. I would like to sort of really explore that a bit more. Yeah.
Well, what's funny is because I have a lot of director friends, and the toughest thing is getting someone to allow you to make a film on this scale. Mm-hmm. And once you've done it, everyone's like, oh, he's done it. He can go do it again. Yeah,
I'm kind of interested to see what happens when this comes out. There's a part of me like, well, I might just sit and watch it. I mean, like, I feel it's good and people enjoy it. You know, I mean, it seems to be. And I've watched it with a couple of audiences and it gets responses. You know, like I say, there's no guarantees. You can't take it for granted. And that's, you know, a taste is totally subjective. But I would like to see whether people go, oh, he has an interesting take, this guy, and he can handle it. Let's see if there's more that comes across my desk. But that's something for my agent to tell me. I'm going to wait until this comes out is the answer.
Yeah, I got to wrap with you. I'm just going to say I'm very confident you're going to get offered something else with action once people see this. On that note,
thank you.
Great seeing you. Thank you for your time. And seriously, I had a blast watching.
Really appreciate it. Thanks.